that Krishna is entering into Vrindavan. This is called dhyana. Dhyana is meditation. When we meditate, it has to be as good as really happening right in front of our eyes. So now gopis are in meditative mood about Krishna. Now they can see that Krishna is now entering into the Vrindavan forest. As he was entering into the Vrindavan forest, his beautiful curly hair, long, beautiful, dark curly hair. Some of them are left in the back, some of them are taken and knotted on the top of his head. Now you have to start imagining. This whole 14 slokas about, you have to start visualizing what I'm trying to say here. Okay? Rather than looking at my horrible face, you can start thinking about. But don't close your eyes. 11 o'clock is full sleep. Maybe you can see Krishna over there. Now, Krishna had his Yashoda, his mother, nicely tied the curly hair. Especially if you have a long straight hair, it's very easy to comb. If you have a curly hair, it's a little difficult to do it. But Master Yashoda, somehow or the other, she takes the hair, collects together, and put a knot on the top of Krishna's head. Beautiful knot. And around the knot of the hair, there were beautiful pearls and jewels around the hair, top of the head. And on top of that, Barha Pitam, Natavarabapu, Karnayo, Karnikaram, Barha Pitam. On top of this beautiful hair, which is knotted on the top, there is a feather, peacock feather, like a half moon. Right? Like a half moon. So on the top of Krishna's head, the peacock feather is like a half moon, and Krishna is bluish in color, and the half moon, and with the colors of rainbow, it was so beautiful to see how Krishna was. That's what the gopis were speaking about. Natavara Vapuhu. And as Krishna was walking, now we know some of our girls here in our school, they all learn Bharatanatyam, different dances. They go to dance class and learn all the different dances. But Krishna, as he was walking, is walking himself like a dance. His walking style was so beautiful. Natavara Vapuhu. He was just dancing so beautifully, very nicely. And no one can ever match him in dance. You know, in the world, if you want to compare, sometimes you say, your hair is, your face is like a moon. Your name is Krishna, correct? Krishna? Yeah. Right? Your face is like a moon. Now, is moon greater or face is great? What am I trying to say here? What is superior? If I say, I don't want to look on the ladies' side here. It's not like, your lips are like bimba fruit. Come here. So his lips, look at his lips. Bimba fruit. And am I telling his lips superior or the bimba fruit superior? The eyes are like lotus flower. Am I telling the eyes are superior or the lotus flower is superior? When in the world, when we compare two objects, the object is superior than the subject. We try to compare the subject with a superior object. That's the closest that we can get. But when we say your eyes are like lotus, right? Your body is like a monsoon cloud. All this trying to, when we try to compare these things on the worldly things, yes, we can understand that the object is superior, subject is compared to the superior. But when it comes to Krishna, the object is not superior. The subject is superior. The only reason we are comparing with the object which is not superior, because that's all we can have access to. We can only compare with those things we are experienced with. We can't go beyond that point. Therefore, Krishna's Natavara Vapuhu cannot be compared with any other things. And as Krishna was walking into this forest, as he was dancing, as he was going nicely, his Pitamara, his yellow garments, also was waving, swaying like this and like that. And his ankle bells were also dancing and making nice noise, sounds, not noise, sounds. And his belt around his waist that he was wearing, that was also making noise. And his Vaijayanti Mala, as he was walking like this and like this, it was swaying like this, left and right, like this, beautifully. And of course, his beautiful earrings, as he was coming and kissing all the chicks. When he turns like this comes the chick. His kisses over here on his cheeks, beautiful. So that's how this beautiful sloka, where it says Krishna, this is being told here. Varha apitam natavara vapuhu karnayo karnikaram bipradvasa kanaka kapisham vaijayanti malam. Randranenu Radra Sudayam Puriyan Gopa Vrinde Vrindananyam Swapadaramana Pravishati Gita Kirti. We move on to the second one. Ready? Yes? Anurakta Kataksha Moksham. So this is the last line of this particular sloka, where it says Kataksha Moksham. As the girls of Vrindavan were discussing and talking among themselves about Krishna entering into the forest, and the first thing they noticed when we are looking at Krishna, something is very, very prominent, attracts us, and that is what this gopis got attracted on. They saw Venu Gita. They saw this Krishna holding to the flute. Krishna is holding to the flute, this beautiful flute called Venu. Krishna has different ranges of flute. This flute is called Venu, which is the smallest in size, by the way. So Krishna was carrying this beautiful flute and he was just playing. And the gopis were enjoying seeing and talking about how Krishna is holding the flute. And as they were looking at Krishna, and Krishna was playing flute and looking at these gopis from side of his glance to the side of his eyes, right? You don't want to see someone eye to eye directly, right? So you see somewhere in a side glance. That means you have a special soft corner for that person. Of course, you are angry at someone also, you look like this. That's a different case. But we are talking in a different mood here. So Krishna was looking at gopis and gopis were looking at Krishna nicely. As they were looking, they got into something which they cannot express. And the gopi bhav, the mood of gopis, how much ever we try to explain, it is very difficult to explain for ordinary people. Very difficult to explain. Only their love for Krishna cannot be compared to anything else. Like how we cannot compare the object to subject of this world, their love cannot be compared to anything else in this world. Their love is ultimate. Moving on to the next one. One gopi is telling to another gopi, look at Krishna, how charming he is, how beautiful he is, how nice it will be to go close to Krishna and be with him. And this gopi is saying, why don't we go right away to Krishna? Another one is saying, no, look who's standing next to him. Balaram. Balaram is a little respectful person. How can we go in front of Balaram and Balaram is standing? Hey, don't worry about it. When we go in front of Krishna, he won't consider anything, and Balaram will also forgive us. He won't say anything. It's okay, we can go in front of Krishna. But this gopi is so much fixed in their mind, saying that no, in front of Balaram we cannot go and talk to Krishna, we cannot be close to Krishna, we can't do anything, especially when elders are there, we can't do any of those things. And that's what this gopi is telling. So we have to wait for a right moment, then we can go. At that time, the gopi is telling, don't you see that how Krishna is wearing his beautiful yellow garment and how he is standing and playing the Venu Gita, the beautiful flute. Even after hearing these things, you want to be so much concerned about who's standing next to him, all those different things. You have to stop all those things. Don't worry about what public is thinking about, what your parents are thinking about, what are your husbands are going to think about. I will come to that later. Right? So we don't need to worry about any of these things. Once we go in front of Krishna, we won't be obligated to anything else of this world. Once we see beauty of Krishna, then we forget all our attachment to this world and we get attached to the lotus feet of Krishna. And especially, don't you get attracted when Krishna plays his Venu? Who in the world will not get attracted to Krishna's flute? Krishna. That is the sloka. Let's move on to the next one.
Gopya ki macharadayam koshalam smavinor damodaradhara sudham api gopikana mukte swayam yadavashishta rasam jradinyo yashadvacho shumumoju saravoyadhaya
Damodara Adhara Sudham. Adhara Sudham. Damodara Adhara Sudham. So she's telling that how fortunate these Gopas are, the coward boys or the boyfriends of Krishna's are. They can be with him, play with him, go to the forest with him, graze the cows with him, and eat together, play together, and do all sort of things. How fortunate they are. How fortunate they are. And another Gopi says, why are you talking about the Gopas' fortune? Don't you see something else which is much more fortunate than Gopas? Who doesn't have a life? Gopas has, the boys of Krishna, has life. And they are born in the same community of what they are Vaishyas. The boys are Vaishyas, Krishna was Vaishya, not 10 times, right? Therefore, it's not a big deal, they having friendship with Krishna. But look at this one. It's not having life, it doesn't belong to the same community. I don't know what austerity and penance this one has done in life to be touched constantly by the lotus lips of Krishna. Who's that? Adhara Sudham. How fortunate. I think in the previous life, it must have done great austerity, must have been a great sage. And another Gopi says, I don't think so. If it was a stage and it has done a lot of austerity, why it has born as a flute, lifeless flute? And another Gopi says, well, we are lifeful, but we don't have an opportunity to be with Krishna. It's better to be lifeless, like a stick, than having life with no association of Krishna. What is important to us is whether we have the wealth, whether we have education, whether we have high birth, whether we have any of these things. The simple point of our life success is whether we have connection with Krishna or not. That's all it matters. If we have connection with Krishna and we don't have any of the other things that I just said, it doesn't matter. Therefore, they said, what a fortune this flute must have been. Indeed, it is fortunate. Because they constantly is touched by the lips of Krishna, and sometimes he touches with his lips, sometimes he carries like this, sometimes he puts on his armpit, sometimes it's stuck into his in the waist over here. He's always carrying this flute. And another Gopi said, look at this fortunate flute. It had no address before. No one knows who this flute was. Until Krishna started grazing the cows. Before that, Krishna did not have the flute. Only after he started taking the cows to the forest, that's when he had this stick, this flute. But we all were being friend of Krishna since his birthday. What a lucky flute and what unfortunate people we are. We need to talk to the flute first. Look, they become, when the love for God becomes so much in a height, they don't know what they are talking, they don't know what they are doing. That's how it happens to gopis as well. Let's go and find out what austerity this flute have done in the previous life. So we can also do now, at least in the next lifetime, we can be touched by the lips of Krishna. Let's move on to the next sloka. talk for a minute about talking about the good fortune, portrait about the coward boy. That's all fine. But what great fortune is this Vrindavan, where is constantly touched by Krishna's lotus feet. Krishna in Vrindavan does not wear Reebok shoes, Nike shoes. He doesn't wear any of these things. Barefoot. In Ramayana at least we can see Rama was wearing paduka. That also was taken away. Right? Someone was asking me a question somewhere that when Bharata came and anyway, I finished this. When Bharata came and asked about padukas of Rama, Rama gave the padukas. What happened after that for 14 years? Was he wearing padukas or what, barefoot? Simple question. He took another padukas, another set of padukas, extension of another paduka. But in Krishna Leela, when we see Krishna was barefoot, but the gopis will look at the fortunate, the Vrindavan earth. Everywhere we can see Krishna's feet. See, 100 people are walking, 100 gopas, hundreds and thousands of gopas are walking. Krishna is also walking among them. How do you know this is Krishna's footprint? How do you know this is Sudhama's footprint? How do you know this is Madhumangal's footprint? These are friends' names of Krishna, by the way. How do you know? Because if I take and keep my foot on somewhere, of course it will be dark in color because dust from the devotees' lotus feet. When we go back home, we will get all the dust. But what happens when Krishna walks, his lotus feet has totally 19 symbols marked. 19 marks. On the right feet of Krishna, he has 11, and on the left side, he has 8 of them. And the description are given what are those symbols are. Right? So, we will skip that. But by that, the Vrindavan everywhere we can see the Krishna's footprint with all these beautiful symbols are there. So what fortunate this earth is, Mother Earth is, Vrindavan is. Okay, let's move on to the 6th sloka. His footprints are everywhere, all over the places. And all the way that as he was walking and going, he was following the cows. Interestingly, it is said that we have to follow the great source. Whereas in Krishna Leela, we can see that Krishna is following the cows. There is a beautiful sloka in by one great sage by Andal in Tirupavai. Anyway, so it's said that the milking cows are walking in the front, and Krishna is following this cow, following these cows. Right? Why? Because Krishna follows the cows because cows are very simple. They don't complicate life. They are simple living animals. And payastu and mode of goodness. As Krishna was following these cows, and in the forest Krishna was playing his flute and going, and suddenly you can see that all the peacocks were also around Krishna, and they were also started moving around Krishna. Krishna was playing the Venu Gita, and then the peacocks were dancing, opening their beautiful feather like a rainbow. The peacocks were dancing. As peacock was dancing, Krishna started increasing his the play of his flute, and he increased more ragas, more tune. The peacock started dancing more. As peacock started dancing more, Krishna started playing more. And there was a love exchange between this peacock and Krishna. Who's the winner? No one. Both of them were equally exchanging their relationship. But the peacock came closer, And then everyone asks this question: why is Krishna wearing the peacock feather on his crown, mukut on top of his head? So over here, the Acharya says peacock was so interested, so mesmerized, so happy that Krishna was playing this Venu, this flute, and then they came closer and they gave their feathers as a gift to Krishna. And Krishna accepted this beautiful gift, and he said, I will accept it for rest of eternity. These feathers will be on my head. That's why Krishna has this beautiful feather on his head. So this peacocks were dancing. As they were dancing, next was the deers and does. Deers and does. They also came closer. As they came closer, they did not dance. They were just looking at Krishna with unblinking eyes. Unblinking eyes. Sometimes the children play this game. Look at each other, should not blink the eyes. 30 seconds, 40 seconds, 1 minute, the maximum they can do. And then closes. Right? But the deers and does were, they just looking at Krishna playing flute. And especially the deers are very mesmerized and they love music, flute music. Especially the hunters, they hunt the deers by playing the flute and they capture them. That's how they capture the deer. Right? But over here, without any fear, they just came running to the sound vibration of this flute without even thinking about it's going to be danger or not, they don't know. But they just came running and they saw Krishna with this beautiful three-folded form, Tribanga form, three-folded form, and Krishna is playing the flute. And they just could not take their eyes off of Krishna. And who came first? The does came first. The does came first. But followed by the deers, the male ones. The female ones came first. The male one came, and the male deers were talking among themselves, saying, how fortunate our wives are. How fortunate our wives are, the love that they have. By the way, the male ones are called Krishna Sara. The grade of deers called Krishna Sara. Among the deers, there's one category of deers called Krishna Sara. Means they only take the essence. The essence for them is Krishna. Other than Krishna, nothing else. Krishna Sara. But those Krishna Sara deers were thinking about the greatness of their wife. The wife, as they were walking to the front where the sound came from, they didn't even turn back and look whether the husbands are following or not. And the gopis were telling, look at our state and look at these deers. Now we are sitting in the home, I'm thinking whether I should go to Krishna's temple or not to go to Krishna's temple. It is Janmashtami, should I go now or not? Right? Look at my condition. And look at this deer. They didn't even care about the family responsibility, nothing. It is Janmashtami, I have to go today. Irrespective of whoever stopped me, I'm going to go to the temple and see the 12 o'clock aarti. Right? The gopis were thinking about that in the same way. At least we should have born in our next life. We should have born as does or deers. So that we also get an husband like these deers who will not restrict us going to temple. Right? Let's just go to the temple. That's this particular sloka. Let's move on to the next one. 7th one. That is the 12th.
Krishnam Nireshavarninotsavarupaशीlam Shutva Chantarita Venu Gita Devyogi Managataya Maranunna Sara Prasad Prasunagavara Mumurvidivya.
So the deers, as they were talking about this one, the gopis, by the way, please remember everything is happening in their home, in their house. Sitting in the house, they are just talking about all those different things. As they were watching that the deers and does were there, and then their eyes went up on the sky. On the sky, they saw all the devatas, the demigods. They were flying on their, they have a special flight. which can fly. They were all flying on the sky. As they were flying on the sky, they were watching on the chariot that the wives of the Devata, the Devis, the wives of the Devata, they all stood over there and looking at Krishna playing the flute. In the material terms, when someone is married and then so someone is married, it is a custom that the man should not look at another's wife eye to eye, and the other's married woman should not look at another man eye to eye. That's a culture. Interesting thing happened over here. Who can ever stop looking at Krishna, whether you are married or not married? Who can stop looking at Krishna? No one can say no. The married Devis of the Devatas, when they saw Krishna playing the flute in the forest, their hair, they were nicely combed their hair. Those all just fell off. The flowers fell off their hair. And the chain was falling off. The belt, the golden belt they were wearing around their waist was falling off. And whatever they were wearing, the sari that wearing, it fell off like this in front of their husbands. In front of their husbands. And the gopis were talking, look at this. What's happening over there? These devis, they fell off unconsciously on the lap of their husband. This is too much for the husband, right? When I was giving, this is many years back, I was giving a class in Wofalan, and when I was asking this group of ladies who were sitting, said, tell me who's your hero? I asked this question to the ladies. And one mother said, Chiranjeevi. Another one said, Amitabh Bachchan. Another one said, whoever. They said all this. Then I stopped. What about your husband? What about your husband? First thing should be, whether your husband is handsome or not. For you, husband should be the hero. Unless until we are in a gopi mood, only thinking that Krishna is a hero, that's great. That's wonderful. Right? But here, when the devis fell off on the lap of their husbands, the husbands started tears were coming out of their eyes, thinking, look at the bhakti and devotion and love of our wives towards Krishna. We don't have that bhakti. We don't have that bhakti. And like that, the gopis were talking, look at the situation here. Even the married woman, unmarried woman, whether you're old by age, whether you're young by age, everyone fall in love with Krishna by his Venu Gita. Let's move on to the next one. 13th. Talking about devatas, these things and everything. Look at there, what's happening. And then another gopi turned, what's happening over there? Look at there, the cows and the calves. And they were seeing when Krishna was playing the flute, the calves who went to drink milk, their mouth was like that. They are not sucking from the udder. They are not sucking the milk. Rather, they were getting the milk through their ears. That is the Venu Gita. As Krishna's Venu Gita come through their ears, they could not drink anything. They were frozen. They were frozen. And then Krishna and cows have a special relationship right from the childhood. And Krishna personally bathes the cows and then touches the cows, make them feel comfortable with their neck and head and all the different parts of the cows. And these cows would never go grazing with anyone else other than Krishna. If Krishna is not going to take for grazing, they will go on strike, union strike. We are not going to go into the forest. That's the fortune of cows. What unfortunate beings we are. Being a human, we are unfortunate. Let's move to the next one. This is the ninth sloka. We are going fast, so we'll get it to time. As they were talking, they could see lots of birds flocking into Vrindavan. Lot of birds flocking into Vrindavan, and they are sitting on different branches. Some were hiding within the thick branch, some were on the branch itself, and some were just coming in and landing over it. Kindly please be seated. Hare Krishna. Either you please be seated or you can move out to the another room. Sorry. So all these birds were just flocking into this Vrindavan, and the gopis were thinking, look at the bird over there. And all these birds, some birds were just sitting like this, closed eyes, and simply hearing the Venu Gita. Some birds were with eyes wide open, looking at Krishna playing the flute. Different birds were like this, and the one gopis was telling, those birds which are closing their eyes, definitely in a previous life, they would have been a Jnana Yogi or Jnana Yogis in meditation. Therefore, they are closing their eyes and fully absorbed in meditation of hearing the Venu Gita. Whereas the others who are kept eyes wide open, they must be devotees in their previous life. Because when we come to the temple, all the way we come to the temple not to close our eyes, to see the beauty of Krishna. Right? After you see the beauty of Krishna, then you grasp and take the image within your heart, then you can sit in the corner and meditate on the beauty of Krishna. Not while coming, entering, only close your eyes and come and hit yourself somewhere. Right? No, not like that. So therefore, different birds, and these birds were also singing songs as Krishna was playing the flute. Like, now we have some birds within this group over here. They are going to make some beautiful sounds here and going to tell how they sang songs. Now we are going to call out the parrot who is going to make songs. Parrot? Parrot, come forward if you want, please come here. So she's going to sing a song like parrot. Yeah. You know what does it mean? Now the parrot is telling how beautiful, how beautiful, how beautiful, how beautiful Krishna is. So nice. And then the next one, the peacock came. Peacock? Peacock is going to come and make some song. And the cuckoo, get ready. Where is my Krishna? Where is my Krishna? Where is my Krishna? And the cuckoo is coming. She is also going to sing for the Venu Gita. So nice, so nice, so nice. Krishna's Venu Gita is so nice. Krishna's Madhuram, his lips are Madhuram, his Venu is Madhuram, his walk is Madhuram. And that is how the movie, nowadays movie, they copy of, the hero walks and comes, his walk is like this, the girl is like, it's all copied from the poetries of the great Acharyas, by the way. They change Krishna into Rajnikant, Amitabh Bachchan, Shah Rukh Khan, all those different things. Let's move on to the next one. Next one. understandable about the birds, it's understandable about the deers, understandable about the cows. These are all fine. But unusual things happening over there. Gopi, did you notice something? What? Look at there, what's happening with Yamuna. What's happening with Manasi, Ganga. These are the different rivers over there. They are out of sync, out of flow. Usually the rivers that flow must go and mix with the ocean. The ocean are considered to be the husband of the rivers. The ocean is considered to be the husband of the rivers. But then over here, the Yamuna, the Manasi Ganga, all the rivers, instead of going into their husband's place, they are turning, take a U-turn and come towards where the Venu Gita is going on, towards Krishna. And they come and then splashes over the seashore. Over there, the lotus flowers and different jasmine flowers, all the flowers, just root out and then comes and falls at the feet of Krishna. What a beautiful thing, right? They come in such a way that hit on the shore, the beautiful flowers are there, they root out and fall at the lotus feet of Krishna and they offer their flower and love to Krishna. What a fortune this Yamuna is, the Manasi Ganga is. Even they know Krishna is our real husband. Even they know Krishna is their real husband. But we are so stuck with these problems, this attachment of our family, our responsibility, everything. Krishna, when will I ever break myself out of this chain of repeated birth and death and remove my knot from my heart, remove my confusions and attachments, and when will I become like this and let my thought flow towards your lotus feet? Let's move on to the next slide.
Dristvata me rajamasho
in a helpless situation, literally crying, thinking about their situation, that what am I doing for Krishna? I'm not able to offer him either through my words, either through my... This body is there, but this body is not serving Krishna. What am I doing? Look at these clouds now. They've gone to the clouds now. Look at the clouds. The billions and trillions of clouds are gathering together right where Krishna is playing the flute. They're not going anywhere else. They're coming towards where Krishna is. They're getting ready so that the scorching sun, they're protecting Krishna from the scorching sun. It was hot. So they're protecting Krishna from the hot weather. At the same time, they are giving beautiful cool raindrops for the pleasure of Krishna. Right? Even the clouds are serving Krishna in some way or the other. But me, when it comes to me, I'm not doing anything. I can do more in my life. But what am I doing? I take into consideration of all my responsibility, and finally, if at all I have time, I will come to temple. I will chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare. We don't even have time to chant Hare Krishna. We have everything else in our life to do. But can't we spend 10 minutes to chant Krishna? The gopis are thinking, what am I doing in my life? God has given me everything in my life. I can't even reciprocate with him in such a way to call out his name. Or come and do some service at the temple. What an unfortunate people we are. Let's move on to the next one. 17. forests of Vrindavan, there were the tribes they used to live. The women of that forest area, they were living. Even they are so fortunate, they get to see Krishna's activity, they get to personally witness how Krishna is playing the Venu Gana, and look at us sitting at home, not able to see these things. What even those forest women can do, we are unfortunate. So very unfortunate. What is the use of being born in the same family, in the same community of what Krishna is? It's rather better to be born somewhere else, where we can witness and enjoy Krishna's pastimes. Let's move on to the next one. Now they witnessed a beautiful mountain called Govardhan. When they saw Govardhan, they said, Govardhan is doing so much for Krishna. He's giving herbs, he's giving fruits, he's giving water, cool water, spring water. It gives herbs, so many different things. It has a lot of caves. It's a shelter for different animals, birds, and for the pastime, for Krishna to perform all types of pastimes. Govardhan is doing so much. Who else can be the great devotee than Govardhan? We are nowhere close to what Govardhan is doing. Move on to the last sloka. As Krishna was walking into them, now he's going to, as he was walking, he's not only carrying the flute in his hand, on his shoulder he's carrying the ropes as well, to tie the cows back in, right, so that he can milk. So look how beautiful he is. If we are not dressed up nicely, no one can look at us. Even you dress up nicely, that's a different game. Right? We try our best, but it's a failure. But when Krishna even simply wears a rope on his top, that looks stylish. Have you ever tried going to your office with coat, suit and a rope on your top? Just look at it, how you'll be. Everyone will laugh at you. Right? But Krishna, when he walked with the ropes to tie the cows, it was like an ornament for him. We all deck us up with a lot of ornaments to make ourselves beauty. But Krishna wears all his ornaments so that he can give beauty through the ornaments. It's ulta. It's a reverse. Right? That's the beauty of Krishna. With that said, we completed the 14th sloka. This can go for weeks, by the way. It can go in detail, go line by line, word by word. The Acharya has given so much into it, gone deep into it. But for that, we don't have much time. But the idea is to inspire you all to appreciate Krishna and Venu Gita over here. Now let's all close our eyes and enjoy this beautiful song of Venu Gita. Hare Krishna.
Pidam Natavara Babu Karo Venu
Give them a big hand for a wonderful. Wonderful, thank you. Sorry, we went 8 minutes past. I apologize.
Hare Krishna.